myself, just as a person who uses professional development in my everyday life. I go to about 30 events or seminars every year. I try to get as much as I can that's free, but then I also invest in that because that's been a major help to me in my career, especially because I'm always wanting to do things that are not necessarily in the straight and narrow. So pulling from the experiences and education of others has been a strong point for me. Also, Let's Go is my business that I just recently started, so I'm also representing that. And the idea is taking outside of being my pen name and less being my name, but it's taking yourself from your current position and just furthering that position. So especially in the area of social media. And so I've heard a lot of business owners, especially entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, say, I really want to get on that Twitter or that Facebook when I get some time, when I get some money, or when I get more staff, when I get, whatever it is. And my idea is that we can build a strategy no matter where you are to increase your current position online as well as off. The third place that I'm representing is Heritage Media. And so this is the Heritage Media Community Media Lab. And I am a community blogger with Heritage Media. I'm also an intern with the Ann Arbor Journal and a freelancer with the Ypsilanti Courier. And who knows what in the future, so you'll see things from me there. So as far as where to find us, we'll see it up here in a minute, but Heritage blog is communitymedialab.wordpress.com, and that's another great resource. You'll hear a theme in today's message from me, and that's resources. You can like us on Facebook, not just like us, come back. So I like to think of Facebook as like a little house that you invite people to, and whenever you're at home, you invite people over, but you don't, every time they come over, you don't serve spaghetti, right? You have something different. And similarly, a good Facebook page always has something different to offer their guests. So that's facebook.com and Community Media Lab. That's Community Media Lab. And I'm Let's Go for it. And that's Let's Go #4IT. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com Community Media L. Michelle is being a little hip, sort of. Oh, we're on the air. Thank you, Kyle.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, it was a welcome interruption, actually. So, and let's see where we are. So, and the Twitter page is Community Media L, or Let's Go for it. And we'll learn more about that in just a few minutes. Next, I wanted to have Michelle just start the introductions, and I want you to tell us a little bit about this lab and what to expect from the Community Media Lab.
Okay.
Stand.
Okay, I'm Michelle Rogers, Managing Editor of Heritage Media West, and we launched this Community Media Lab unofficially in April, officially in May, and it's part of my Idea Lab project, which is part of our Idea Lab is run by our corporate offices, the Journal Register Company, and I was one of initially 15 people chosen from across the country to be part of this Idea Lab, where we spend 10 hours a week working on projects that could sort of further community engagement and come up with innovative ways to explore journalism and take it further in this new digital age. So I've done other projects, podcasting, that kind of thing, and I launched a Community Media Lab for a new project related to that. So what it's all about is we set up a blogging station. We encourage people to come in here and use it, learn skills. We have a staff person here every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. willing to help anyone with anything, and it doesn't have to be for the newspaper or our website. It could be just for your own organization, your own business. They'll help you set up a Facebook account, Twitter. They'll show you how to use it, maybe Hootsuite, some other form of digital storytelling. They'll teach you how to edit video. There's a variety of things, anything you can imagine, and if you need even more ideas, we can give them to you. I'd love to see a group. I'd like to recruit more students to be in here. I'd like to see some people using Blog Talk Radio. I'd like to host radio shows on the internet. And I have all kinds of ideas, so I welcome more participation in the lab. And in addition to being open Monday through Friday, we have workshops, and this is one of them. So.
Thank you so much. And we just want to follow this curve around. And each of you, could you please stand?
Yeah, okay. My name is Martha Churcher, and I'm a freelance writer for the Milan News Leader, and I have a few other irons in the pot. And I have a lot of fun writing for the paper. I write a history column. Sometimes I overflow into other subjects.
Okay, well, don't sit down just yet. What made you come out today to this workshop?
Well, I would like to be better at Facebook, and there's things I try to do on Facebook and I can't figure out how to do it. And other people are doing stuff that I don't know how. And I thought, maybe I will figure it out better if I come over here. And also for certain things I'm trying to promote. How to set up my own page, you know, it'd be nice to know how to do that.
Right. I couldn't get my grandma to touch a computer until she found out that other seniors were playing poker on there. She was like, I gotta figure this out. Next.
I'm Mark Alexa. I'm active in maybe a dozen community activities or coalitions, and a lot of times I'm the front man for getting articles to the press or creating my own newsletter.
Okay.
I use Facebook to advertise or promote events, and I'm a novice at it, and I think Mark is my new Facebook.
Yeah, you and I are friends.
Oh, wait,
I didn't know what you
the
looked
connections.
like because you used the cancer thing.
Yeah, I know. I don't have many pictures of me.
I'll take a picture of it.
Okay, well, we'll wait on the picture. But
Yeah.
and so, what brought you out today?
Actually, it was a personal invitation from Michelle, and I find that all my involvement in other organizations has been a personal invitation to let me know about a certain event, and I use that same process to invite others to organizations I belong to.
That's really important that you said that it's always been a personal invitation. Okay, thank you. Next up.
I'm Donnelly Haddon, and I am a lawyer by trade. A little while ago, a few years, I had one of those senior moments, and I decided that I wanted to write fiction. So I started writing some fiction. I'm trying to market this, right? So I have a novel that came out about 4 years ago, almost 5, and it's sold. It has its own website that somebody set up for me, and it's sold a few hundred, but it never became a biggie, and I thought it should. But the topic is a little stale, and now it's revived more. But now I have some short stories that just recently were put on, accepted by Amazon for Kindle. Only on the Kindle at this point, because you have to sign a 6-month deal that Kindle will have exclusive use to the stories for at least 6 months. So I'm trying to figure out how to market this stuff. We had a Facebook, a web page for the law firm. Okay, it's been moderately successful, but getting into this other stuff, I'm just started on Facebook. I haven't gotten into Twitter. I have extensive list of email contacts, but I'm trying to figure out how to get people to look at and then buy this fiction.
So that's brought you here today. Great, thank you.
I am Ed Pacino. I have worked in journalism for about 10 years now. I worked actually for Michelle for about 4 years, and then I doing both sports and news for the Manchester publication, and then I took a job as the assistant sports editor at the Daily Telegram in Adrian, and that lasted up until 2 weeks ago. I was recently laid off. So one of the things I'm here for today is just find out ways that I can make myself a little more marketable in the job search, and I know social media is kind of a big part of that. So.
Thank you, Ed. Do you want to skip through and come back, or are you ready?
I'm Linda Tubbs. I'm volunteer at the Girl Scout office, and I work in the communications department. I've been helping a staff member there with press releases and other materials for the media. And then I also do publicity as well as a newsletter for the Professional Volunteer Corps group, which does community service projects. I don't really know much about social media, so anything I can learn would be helpful, and especially in regard to being able to use it for my PVC group.
Sure. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kennedy. I'm with Heritage Media. I'm recently the Manchester and Ypsilanti editor for those papers. I'm just kind of here today to check things out. I've been to Community Lab a couple times, but I've not really been to a workshop, so I'm just kind of here observing.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tanya Woltz. I am the current Ypsilanti Manchester editor that Carrie's taken over for. I'm transitioning into the community engagement editor position. I think it's great to come out today and see what Leslie has to say, get her information to help teach you guys and others when they come into the lab for help. And I'm here on Thursday mornings if anyone wants to come in.
Thank you. All right, so thank you first of all for, I know it's hard to sometimes stand up in front of people you don't know, but it's important because the focus today is not social media. We'll spend the most time talking about social media, but that's not the focus. The focus is you and professional development. Does that make sense? So I think sometimes people have a tendency to say, I want to learn social media, and it becomes its own overarching thing, and they put themselves in this novice position and they try to learn so much before they move forward with it, as opposed to taking time to assess what you need, like what your goals are professionally, and how social media can help you reach those goals. And that's why I'm here today. So I'm not here to force social media down your throat or have you sign up, to be a social media ambassador. I just want to help you in your own lives as it's helped me. And you are the most important part of professional development. I put there's a me inside the development and in social media. And also, you're also the biggest part of today's presentation. So, excuse me, one thing you'll always find about me, and people that know me, that it takes a minute, and then it's like you just set me off. So, right now, I'm just trying to get a chance to know everybody. So, if you guys can relax, we have 2 hours together. Actually, an hour and 43 minutes left. And so, if we can just kind of relax and actually get into the crux of things and just have an open mind. That's the only expectation that I have from you.
Leslie, do you mind if we move these?
Oh,
Just because it's like taking up your face in the video.
oh, it is. Yes, we can move on to the position. So some of you might be wondering where the bamboo sticks and the straw from. That's part of the philosophy behind Let's Go, is that everything is organic. You'll never hear me telling people that, oh, in a month I can have you on every site, or in a month I can have you get 1,000 likes, because that's not the way that I use social media or encourage other people to do it. It's a more organic approach. One time I went to a seminar that said for a new writer or a new blogger, you should expect about 2 years of being consistent with content-rich material before you start to see, real followers. If you just get a bunch of likes and you just spend a lot of time getting people to like your page, then sometimes you're not able to keep up that same rate, and then you experience what's called the social breakup. So, anyways, today's session agenda or expectations, we'll have a professional development exercise, which I'll ask you to not use your smartphones or anything. We're going to go old school on that. And then a social media overview. And then we'll look at some of the best digital tools for professional development and go into actual sign up for a couple of those, and with the Q&A and wrap up. Any
One
questions?
request for you, Leslie. Can we try to shut off the front light? If you want to get that switch, see if it shows up a little bit better. What do you guys think? Better?
It's pretty dark. Maybe something in the
I
middle.
thought the front
I like to
middle
do it
ground.
the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm only 1 out of 12.
Thanks for trying to make a good
I'm
user
trying to help.
experience for the people out there. I have a couple people that said they'll be
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, that's better.
looking on. Okay. Thank you, Michelle and Tanya. I'm glad I don't have to think about that. So first of all, professional development. Can you guys see this screen okay? It's a little hard.
We have printouts as well.
Okay, true. But not everything is on the printout, but on purpose. Professional development, that's okay, you can follow along. Is personal development and career advancement are the two components for professional development. And so personal development includes, networking, mentoring, learning. So, and that's, you can do that from a variety of ways in reading and studying and experience. And career advancement is mostly affected by personal development, so all those things I just said, education. Sometimes it doesn't matter how many seminars you go to, you may still have to go back to school. And experience and the digital divide. I used to teach introductory computer classes over at the Harriet Street Outreach Center, and the majority of the people were there through the Michigan Works program. Well, there were a number of people that came there from the nursing industry, actually, and they had excellent bedside manner, great nurses, but like other industries, about 7 to 10 years ago, there became this demand for nurses to learn digital material as well, be able to input. I don't know if the last time you've gone to University of Michigan in their emergency room, there's not really any paper and pencil. They're online, putting everything into a database right there on the spot. And unfortunately, that meant that some good nurses and health professionals, even ones that weren't that old, were put into this kind of senior or, different category for the business. So one of the things I brought today, and you can look at this and we have our exercise, are a few personal development tools not online. So, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. So one is the classes that you have in your community, like here, also lifelong education at WCC, recommend. Also, I have some of the books that have personally helped me through the years. This is Researching Online, and I recommend this book for people that are in fields where they're learning to research and they want to use more digital tools. It has good feedback about how to differentiate what information is good information, how to check up on links and make sure that you are quoting verifiable information and good information. Also, secure management tools. And this one is by an author and friend, my little black book of leadership. And it's a fun book. He used his favorite 17 girlfriends and talked about what they taught him about leadership. So, not procrastinating, having a workout buddy, that kind of thing. And I think it's Doug and, Martha?
Martha,
Yeah. So they've just made a friendship, and now they're here at this class. Maybe they'll start to be workout buddies in professional development and social media. And so that's what we want today, is to start to make those connections. You all should have a questionnaire in front of you with some questions. And it says, don't forget me in social media. You don't need to use every application or networking site that becomes available. Focus on your needs and build a plan around what will make your life easier. So to start, I'm going to ask you to take a few moments and complete any sections that are appropriate. Use the back of this page to note any additional comments, questions, or concerns about today's session. And then we'll talk about them during the Q&A period. I'm going to look at the time, and we're going to give ourselves 12 minutes. So when that turns to the 8, we'll stop. And for those of you who might think, oh, this is malarkey, I want to be on the computer, remember this, I just read this morning by the, oh my gosh, it was MSNBC. It was their small business writer talking about one of the most common ways or common characteristics that all small business owners have and entrepreneurs is meditation. So in addition to following up on customer leads, their top 5 ways to be successful in their business is to meditate. So I'm not going to have us doing yoga or anything like that, but I would like us to spend just a few minutes and think about our professional development, where it stands now. Thanks. You don't have to fill out every question. Feel free to walk around, talk to each other. Like I said, I have books up here. You just want to look at it. And there's also brain food outside. I have chips and salsa and water.
Switch.
Almost a good proposition at the end of this.
By me.
Your picture around the police chief. He says, yikes. I guess it's one of the real pictures.
For pop question, is that for you or?
That's just gonna be at the end.
Oh, you're gonna, I'm not gonna give you a pop.
No.
What's a pop question? It's something we want to ask, or you're going to ask?
I'm gonna ask at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Quiz.
I want you to take this piece of paper and not only use it right now, but use it throughout the presentation as well as beyond. If you're done and you see someone else who's done, and you snapped yourself silly, you can get with them and talk with another person about the results.
What Mac is this?
Apple keyboard.
She has,
This is 05.
Mine's a MacBook, just a plain old MacBook.
I have been looking at switching from Macs from where it is PC.
They don't make these anymore, you'd have to get a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, well, I understand that they change every time. But my son-in-law has and I've been frustrated with PCs because they keep changing a lot. You just catch up and you know, and that's what he said, he says it's still getting advanced in most PCs. But there's so many applications out there for PCs that so now you can get an application right?
Can you pass this one out so we can sign it?
Work with the other side, guys, go ahead and pass it.
Our state is kind of annoying. It's pretty sad.
Is it good in writing with, on
It's
the
been like
easel?
900 days, but all of this is like back.
Any volunteers?
Toy and
Yeah.
tool. Smart.
I'm like
pen.
40 plus.
Is anyone good at writing on the easel?
On Twitter.
Look at that, it's horrible. Someone that's good at writing.
At least it's straight. Mine would be like a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's tiny and crooked.
It does that sometimes too.
Right.
Oh, man. I just knew I was gonna have a great pen this
You like and you see the smart pen. Got a recorder. So you're at a great for students.
I thought about writing this for too many hours.
You're talking, you make a note, so if it goes wrong, you can outline.
No one? Anyone?
Smart pen.
Bueller?
You can go back later. And you
I'm
can.
conducting the laugh track, so I can't.
Oh, no, I wasn't looking at you. I need a beer. Okay, just, it won't be long.
Don't give me up for too long.
It look, I think we're gonna, connect a couple minutes early, cause people have kinda moved on to other chats, so I figure that means we're ready to get back started. Anyone need more time? You can write as we're going along. So, lovely Tanya is going to write some of our responses down. So what tools do you all use for personal and professional development, or your organization, even if you don't personally use them?
Tools?
Well, I wasn't clear, did you mean technology tools or?
All
Any
tools.
tools.
Any tools.
I use a pen, I don't care what you see.
And then I listed like Facebook, Twitter, Dropbox, iPadio, Hootsuite, email, Cover Live.
Can you, really?
She knows them all, she uses them too. Texting, blogs, personal connections,
Well,
Outlook
let's go a
calendar.
little slower. Just a little
Well,
bit.
if we're gonna go around the room, it's fine.
Oh, everybody might not have this figured.
No, I thought that was a joke.
I'm sitting next to you to balance you out.
So we have Pin, Facebook, Twitter, iPadio, Dropbox, blogs. Anything else?
Texting, personal connections, Outlook calendar,
Calendaring systems are huge.
Google Docs.
Google what?
Google Docs. If you guys are not using something, I would say use the other side of this and just jot down some ideas too. Want to learn from each other. So she used Outlook calendar, but the same thing would be for a Google calendar, Google Docs, Google Documents.
I know how to do Google Image.
I have Dropbox.
Anybody else?
But I never use it. I mean, what?
Books.
It's a good tool.
Dropbox?
Yeah.
Well, you can have it on
Well-
your phone and on your laptop, so let's say I take a photo of you right now, I can move it and it'll appear on my laptop right away, and same with any documents.
Oh,
I can put documents on here and then have it available on my phone when I'm out on the road, and I can show people, oh, this is a spreadsheet that I have after I drop in the box, that's transferring.
And you can also use Think Office, or even if you're used to, which we'll get to, you're already on Amazon Kindle. You already know that system, right?
yes.
You can also do the same thing with Amazon Kindle.
Well, Dropbox is like a mini cloud.
It is a cloud.
Wow.
I added Certify, iMovie, Flickr, Pinterest, Restream, and Cover It Live.
Okay. Ed, did you have anything to add?
Not really, just my cell phone.
Cell phone? Okay.
I forgot that.
Yeah, I do use my cell phone a lot too.
I use yours too.
Uh-oh, he's got the flip. That's got its own little category. Okay, so also, did anybody have anything that was, they said, oh, I hadn't thought about that in a long time when they were filling this out? Any moments? How effective are your current methods of professional development?
I wrote, they're right, but could always learn more and do more.
Okay, so this is something that I do a lot of times. I'll say, well, I did it earlier. I said, oh, I read today, but then I can't remember who it was. Do you guys do that? How do you?
Yeah, information overload.
Yeah, information overload. Currently, we have the same amount of information that was available from the beginning of time, or the beginning of our record of time, to 2003, now is put out on the internet every 2 days. So the same 2003 years of information is put out every 2 days. It's a lot of information, so you need ways to sort out what you need for your own personal use. And that's why I said before about social media being a tool. So we'll go back to this, but when we think about social media, some of the same ideas, if you will, from that you'll see on in your professional development lives, your careers, you'll also see with social media. So profile, anybody know what profile is?
Like your Facebook profile?
Yeah, that's example, Facebook profile. A lot of other social media sites will mirror some of the same terminology as Facebook, which is why a lot of times you say social media, you hear Facebook. It uses a lot of the same terms. And as of 2010, so I don't even know the newest information, there is like 3 million Facebook social plugins on different websites. So Facebook is everywhere. But profile is like you guys got up and you told people what you wanted them to know today. You told
It's a
them,
mini resume.
yeah, it's a mini resume. It's kind of what you want people to see when they come to that site about you. So today, Donnelly said he was a lawyer, he was a fiction writer, and that he's getting into marketing some of his books. And what else did you say? You said your name first and last,
Yeah.
right?
He's old. And he's old, right?
But you didn't say that.
No, but I said a senior moment, you can fly.
Yeah, you did. You said a senior
If you look
moment.
at my Facebook page, you'll see a picture of me when I was about 9. So that leaves that open.
Right. So enveloped inside of this lingo is also ideas about how to proceed with each thing. So with your profile, if you're on Facebook, for instance, think about what you want people to know on Facebook about you. Okay? So maybe they don't need to know about your grandchildren or whatever. Recently, Heritage did an article, oh my gosh, I think it was in Belleville. Again, this is why I need to put my old thoughts together, about how social media is actually, a lot of times, we put our own children in danger. They said about a parent who put out that her child was 16 today and getting her driver's license and what school she went to and how proud she was of her daughter. Well, she probably that same parent is gonna, if her daughter was to get on Facebook and say something too much or talk about her new boyfriend or something, she probably would get on her. That's too much information on Facebook, right? But then she just told her daughter's birthday, you know,
Security number.
yeah,
Her personal ID information.
personal ID information, so that people can, if they have, you know, 2 out of 3 main pieces of information, they can start to find information about you. And these are not her friends, right? These are her mom's friends. So you have to worry about not only what you put out there, but what other people put out there about you.
For something stupid like, I live in Chelsea, but we spend our winters in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Back in your house, you've been
Yes. Yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
Cyber criminals.
Right. And so also, well, cyber criminals, but sometimes they're not just, you know, we're the same people on and off. So I know a person in my neighborhood that her house was burglarized, and she had put all this stuff on Facebook about she was going for a weekend trip. Well, it was somebody in her neighborhood because she had a big dog, and whoever it was friendly enough with the dog that was able to get past the dog. You know, this is a big dog. So, you know, our own little thoughts in the air, it had to be somebody that she knew. But she put all her comings and goings on out there. So profile, whenever you see that, that's just about, think about it as what is necessary. So most sites will give you asterisks or red boxes of things that you have to enter in order to be a part of that site. And then what'll be beneficial. So you don't want to give too much, but then you want to give enough so that you're a real person. You know, you don't want to say USA woman, you know, leave it at that. That might be not enough for people to engage with you. Next thing is your settings, and this is another place to kind of work through your list. So with settings, you can make, in most sites, you can make lists. And so an example, this is a little bit shorter than I am. So.
Can I say something about birthdays? I think it makes sense to leave it all off. If somebody doesn't already know your birthday, they don't have to send you a happy birthday wish. And then that's something else that could be used to try to get information about you to bust into your credit card, is to know your month and day of birth.
I agree. I don't have mine on there.
That should all be left off.
And that's up to, and so that's up to you. That's personal. I won't make a judgment on either way. I put my birthday up. What I do is I use what I was about to talk about is settings. So I actually set up lists. So I have professional friends and I have personal friends. And so my professional friends can see information about me, basic information, and my personal friends can't. They can't see certain pictures, they can't post. And it's not that I love them any less, it's just they don't need to know that. They just don't need to know that. So, and in fact, on Facebook, I tend not to friend coworkers in general. Until we're not coworkers anymore, but you know, I have a couple that I have for whatever reason. Like one of the things that I do, I'm a festival coordinator for the Ann Arbor Summerfest, and with that, it's a very social thing. So if I was, not that I would ever do this, but if I was standing on top of a table drinking a martini, no one there would judge me. So no one there, believe me, and so that. I'm okay with that, and that's been over time. So this, I'm just showing you account settings for this. What I just did you guys may have noticed is I went to wireless IPSI, and that was so that I could get this connection, the Wi-Fi that we're located on. And it's, so for instance, this is the general account settings. So I can set what my username is. This allows people to go directly to the username. In most major sites, so your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter, you can set what you want people to type in as their URL. Has anyone ever given you a website and it's like, or a way to find them and it's, 10 miles long? You say, I'm never going to type all that in. That's one way to get around that. Also, I have networks. So Michigan is one network that I choose to keep. And also so when I say public, so anybody that's in Michigan or connected to the University of Michigan you'll find, they can see my information or basic information. Also, Facebook has additional settings, which are privacy settings. And this is what I was talking about, Martha. Here I can choose my privacy as to what is considered public, what is just for friends, and then even I have list of what different friends. So I have writer friends. So with my writer friends, they're kind of like a hybrid. They're professional, but they're also a lot of times friends as well. But they don't necessarily need to know everything that I will share with my family.
Is this kind of like on Google Plus circles?
Yes. Okay. Google Plus used Facebook's thought process. Yeah, Facebook had it first, so Google did it better. And I shouldn't say that. That's not nice. I shouldn't endorse one.
It's a lot easier on Google.
Yeah.
Just move them in.
It's the same thing that happened with Amazon and Borders. Borders did the same thing first, but Amazon made it easier, and Borders is, rest in peace. And you can block people in apps. So, for instance, if any of you have been on Facebook, you might notice that there's a lot of Farmville, Cityville.
How do you block that?
Yeah, can you block that stuff?
Exactly.
I get so sick of it.
Yeah, so that's right here under block people and apps. I just go under manage blocking. Oh gosh, I shouldn't. So for instance, for blocked apps, I have Farmville, Cafe World, Mafia World. For some reason, these are the ones I kept getting a lot of requests for. So all of that you can find in your settings, and so Facebook, like I said, is the one a lot of social networking sites will model after. So just explore settings, look for the word settings. So some might say account settings, privacy settings, other things, user settings, customer settings, whatever settings is going to be that general idea. That's where you're going to be able to have some authority over what is seen, what's not seen. We have a new person, Miss, what's your name?
Alan Caldwell.
Alan Caldwell?
Caldwell. Yeah.
Caldwell. Oh, hi, Alan.
Hi. Sorry, I'm very late.
Oh, no,
It's
you're
nice to
fine.
be here.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. So we started with professional development, and we still are there. And that's the focus. But now just talking about how we can learn a little bit about social media and how to implement it or mix the two together. Next, after settings, we have people. Is another term that you'll hear a lot. And just as it implies, that means that you are interfacing with an actual person. So if it's a singular generally. So it would be, people would be, like if you have customers, or whether it's, see you later, Linda. Okay. If it's another customer or whether it's another coworker, that's all people. If it's a business, if it's a brand, then it's not a person. Okay, so, and I say that because sometimes, especially on places like Facebook, you know, you'll see people mix the two. So they'll say, you know, like me as a friend, but it's not really a friend. It's really, you know, they're selling spark plugs. You know.
Or short stories.
It's short stories. Yeah. Right. So you want to make sure that you make some differentiation of how you interface with people versus interfacing with groups, because people generally are there to make some sort of connection with you on a friendship, or they want to know the actual person about you. When you are friending groups, or if you're friending a page, or you know, it's different in that they're trying to find information so that you can, they can benefit you somehow. It's marketing. So be careful. They could be, you know, that's the kind of person that might be trying to find out what your birth date is, that kind of thing. So you want to deal with them differently. So understanding the difference between people and groups and companies is a big deal. When you go on places like LinkedIn, which is a business, more of a business networking site, you'll also use that in your search fields. You can search people versus, you know, a business. Next is groups. So, what's your ideal? What do you think of when you say groups? When you hear groups?
Like nonprofits.
Nonprofits?
I joined an alumni group.
People with similar interests.
Yeah.
Thank you. People, yes, nonprofit. You all were right, but that's the more overarching thing. People with similar interests. So when we started out today. Okay, see, I'm kicked off the internet again, so I'll look at that in a minute. But
you just have to launch your browser, and then it'll come up where you have to connect. So
yeah, I was just there though, and I'm. Oh, there it is. It's here.
Yeah.
I'm just a little irritated that I had to do that again. So here's an example of groups. Let's see. So here's some of the groups that I'm a part of on Facebook, for instance. So the 90-day Get It Right. It's a weight loss challenge. So right now we're in a group, but who knows, maybe I'll get so skinny I won't need the group anymore. So then I might not be a part of that anymore. Crosstalk is like a Christian Bible discussion. The Countertop is a bunch of girls. The Ann Arbor Area Writers Group is a group that Danielle and I share together. So as we introduced ourselves today, we are a part of a lot of different interest groups, right? Somebody was in a volunteer association, but they're a writer / so again, when you're thinking about what information you have on social networking sites, you can tailor it to groups as well. So think about your interest. And when you're talking about professional development, let's say for instance you're a writer or a journalist. So you probably have interest in writing, in journalism, in whatever you specialize in writing or carrying articles about, whether it's community, whether it's education. So it makes good sense to have a presence online for each of those things, and you can begin to have access to resources about those industry fields, and that could also help you in professional development. So the next lingo for social media is discussions, and that's generally, you see the most discussion professionally inside of groups. Personally or socially, you'll see them outside on people's profiles. You'll see a lot of discussion, and that's just where somebody will post a status or a share of what's called a post, or maybe it's a little link, and then people will like it or say stuff about it. So that could be a discussion. But also, professionally, you want to look for groups to have real good discussions with people that have like interest. Also, the search function is your friend everywhere, especially. I was gonna narrow it down, no, it's just your friend. Search is your friend. Search is gonna help you find, when you feel lost, like Martha was saying, well, some people are able to do things that I'm not able to do. Search it. Facebook, one of the things that that's helped me is, like, if I see something cool, like I see people doing those funny little text symbols that all spell out happy birthday or something, I'm like, how do they do that? You know, so I'll look character symbols up in the search function. There's actually a page devoted to people that have nothing else to do but make up little symbols of how to make cute messages. That can always help you. Also, apps. So when we talked about those blocking apps, we already kind of mentioned it in that way for Facebook with the Mafia Wars or the games. But also apps can be things like cover pages for your site, marketing covers. If you have your website funnel in, those are all apps. If you have the RSS feeder, you have to be careful of I would read each of the disclaimers about where they can share your information and that sort of thing. Most of them are pretty straightforward, so it's not like a huge concern. But some of the smaller apps, like if it's just, I had an app once that made flowers go on top of the screen. And for those flowers, I was getting spammed with emails, and they were sending information about how other people could get the flowers to my friends. So just for me not reading that disclaimer. So you want to be on top of all those little apps that, make things happen. Some of the cool things you think are cool on other people's pages might be at a cost.
Yeah, I was going to give an example of that. Is that school feed or school thought or whatever is on Facebook. I joined that, then I realized you put interest in, and I would just say books, and then all of a sudden it would say Michelle Rogers likes,
yes!
a certain book, and I was like, what? I never said that, and I didn't look at a book, and so I immediately stopped using that.
And a lot of times it'll give you little screens, and the tendency is to just click continue the 3 times and now you're free and clear. But no, sometimes you need to read that, because it's saying, oh, I can send messages to your friends on your behalf. So you want to make sure that you're not doing that. Especially, always going back to professional development, the last thing you want is for your coworkers to start getting slammed with messages that say they're from you.
If it starts to say that kind of stuff, pull the plug on the computer.
It's still going on.
It would still be going on.
It still would be going on, but you can go to that app and block it. So those 4 applications that you saw I had blocked in my Facebook, those are ones that got out of hand. And so I just blocked them all together.
And unplugging your computer is a dangerous way to turn off your computer.
Exactly. That's a whole nother class, but yes. Computers. Next thing are connections. And so in general, connections mean just that you made a connection with a person, a group, or a business. Those are all connections that you can make on social media. So when we talked about the groups and the discussion, those are all connections, but so is just making a friend. And it's this, and don't think of it as social media term, even though it is, you'll hear it, but it's modeled after real life. When we come here today, we made a connection. When we see each other now at Kroger's, we can say, what? I saw you at the Community Media Lab, right? So that's a connection, and it's the same idea on social media. And I already spoke about friends. And friends are just a polite way of saying somebody I connected with. Doesn't really mean you guys share stories together and went to high school and college together.
The word friend is going to change in the English language.
You think? It might. So, I'll just go over some of the sites in each one. Yeah, we're on time. So the first one is professional networking sites. So that just generally means there's one, a lot of HR activity. So a lot of sharing information that's pertinent to the industries that you might serve on, or learning about more, technical, less fun stuff. So examples of that are LinkedIn. That's probably the biggest one. And I have to put a quick plug in for any of you who use LinkedIn. Recently there was a security breach, so you should change your password immediately. So also Yammer is a closed professional networking site, sort of. So you have to have a team, if you will, like a business. So University of Michigan, for instance, has a Yammer account. So anybody who works at the University of Michigan can sign on to Yammer, and it's like their own mini Facebook, but they don't talk about Facebook sort of issues. So, but it's mirrored after Facebook, but it's just for professional things. So some of the ways that I've used that is, like I'm on one for instructional design. We, like I just put out a question recently about this right here. When you are putting together a presentation, I like to be able to see the notes, but then you guys see the presentation. Well, that's not something everybody would, think about or care about, but I do. And so other instructional designers, I'll chime in, or they might share, post. And so that's a good way, because you're able to share it in a way that you're used to, but it's not like I'm at work playing on Facebook, Also, Care2 is another one it's big in the nonprofit world, also People Movers community. And there you earn credit, so Care2, for every articles however many articles you submit, you earn butterfly rewards, for instance. And you can turn in so many butterfly rewards to, maybe help buy an animal for a family in another country or something like that. So the best functions or reasons to use these are, human resources activity, business to business networking. So if you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, you have a lot of us have side business or freelance. This is also a good way to keep up with that professional development. Excuse me. Also groups. The groups here I've found to be so beneficial because you have all your interests right there. So whether it's social media or whether it's writing, and people are you can have a group of maybe 10,000 people, and they're all there with similar interests. Also the discussions in lead generation. So in a way it's kind of marketing. It can be a marketing tool, but just thinking about putting yourself out there if you're changing careers or trying to develop professionally, it can be helpful to just get a bigger swath of people within your industry. Also, what I found is, as far as sharing, sometimes you're in a group by interest that you wouldn't normally have, you have access to people you wouldn't normally have access to. So one group I'm in a group with like CEOs, multi-million-dollar industries and everything. I mean, they would have no reason to talk to me, in general. But I asked a question that they thought was interesting, or I answered a question that they thought had an interesting answer to. And so now here I am talking with Mr. Millionaire, So think about this as another way to open doors. Also, if people can, it's consistency, going back to the consistency, if people can count on you to have good content and content that is reliable. So not every time you say, Facebook is about to start charging $1 for every post. If you post stuff like that, your ratings will go down quick. So, I wanted to give us, sorry about that. I want to make sure that we get an idea of a picture each time as well. Because you're going to see all my personal information. Oh my gosh. I don't have anything major on here. So, like this, for instance, this says LinkedIn. This is my profile. So the lingo that we just talked about all comes into play here. So we have our profile. Can you see my little? Yeah. So this is.
You're covering it all.
Thank you. So that's the profile. Again, if here the settings are under my name, and I can change those.
Was that a question?
Yes.
I'm not on LinkedIn. I've never really had a use for it, but I'm just wondering, do you find that it's useful?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've for instance, at the Ann Arbor Summer Festival, I told you I'm the greeter coordinator. This is my second year. I found that position because the general manager said that from my LinkedIn page, my personality jumped out of the page. So, and she contacted me about coming in for an interview. Never met this woman before in my life.
How did she find your profile on there of millions?
That's the idea of putting like a profile that's going to have, in the search, putting them together. You want to have enough so when people search by keywords, you come up. So when people think volunteer, they think Leslie. I hope. And so, or writing, they think of, so I have three major passions, and that's volunteers, or volunteer management, writing, and social media. And so when people think community volunteer, that kind of thing, not only offline that comes across, but I need to make sure that my profile has that same message. So regionally, LinkedIn, I'm gonna have to do this, sorry. So regionally, LinkedIn has more merit in different places. Like if we were in California, you could not have a business card without a LinkedIn on there. I mean, it's huge. A friend lives in California, and I have a few friends in California, and if you don't have a LinkedIn, you're not even a real serious person within the industry or in any industry.
It's like not having a phone number.
Yes, because you're more likely to link up with somebody than you are to email someone. Email is kind of old school.
I get a lot of these emails saying so-and-so and so-and-so want to join my LinkedIn.
Yeah, I assume that's a virus. Maybe it's not.
No, I think.
No, it's not.
It's people that sometimes I recognize, sometimes I don't. I have a friend who says he gets a tremendous amount of business through LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
But if I answer one of these, does that get me into, I don't get a LinkedIn page just by doing that.
No.
I have to register.
You have to register and we have to set it up.
Okay. And if I respond to this, to Joe Blow, who invited me to join him on LinkedIn, I will be part of a group of people that's in the same business or profession or same interest as he is, or not necessarily so. Are there different
So,
groups within?
so you bring up a good point in that. So the connections piece, when we were talking about connections,
So if he's
that's-
a guy that I bought some plumbing from, I don't necessarily want to be linked into a lot of plumbers. Right? But in my,
but you may. I mean, maybe plumbers are nice guys. I don't know, but no, I'm just saying that you don't have to. You can choose to engage with those plumbers or not,
okay.
but you have access to them now because you have friended that plumber. I mean, that's part of your bigger reach.
Oh, so it's in some ways something like Facebook.
Oh yeah, it's very much like Facebook. It's most all social media, or you could call it social media, professional media, social networking or professional networking, business networking. It's all with the same model. It's the way that people use it is what really makes it different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I wonder if we want to, we can move through, we can put together a site at the end, if you guys would think that's useful. And so this is not something that I put together overnight either. Like, I need to update it now, but I work on it here and there. Like, I add, like, I change the summary here and there. I change, the experience as it comes along. People have recommended me for things and that. So I can see the recommendations there. Also, I put in apps. So I automatically have a feed that comes in for like some of the things that I've shared, as well as the books that I read, people have access to. But I wouldn't put on there that I was reading Little Women. I'd only put on there like my professional books that I read. Yeah. So, and you'll see here, it says connections. So I have 275 connections, but each of those connections, so 275 people is multiplied by however many connections that they have. Okay, so you always.
So you send what we would call a post on Facebook to those
This is LinkedIn.
275, right?
This is LinkedIn.
LinkedIn,
Mhm.
yeah, but it's similar to
Mhm.
Facebook where you
Mhm.
post something on your page, on your page, on your wall, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so then it goes out to all 275 people through LinkedIn.
It's visible.
It's visible.
There's a difference between sent out and visible. So so right now,
Did they have a news feed like Facebook, or how's it visible?
yes, there is a news feed. If I go to my home screen, hello, it's thinking. Then I can see what are the hottest topics on LinkedIn, and also what I've noticed that LinkedIn does. I don't know how it does it, but it starts to kind of memorize, like Google does, what you use, what kind of things you like, and so it tries to have a better user experience for you. So, and these are updates from different connections that I have.
But back to my 275 people that you are connected to on LinkedIn, it's up to them then to forward that to their friends or whoever they are, to get it spread out and go viral, as they say, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So right now, my LinkedIn network, so it says, it gives you a count. So 10 people, my profile has been viewed by 10 people in the past 15 days. So that means that people actually pulled up, not just off of the feed, but looked at my actual profile.
Okay.
So the whole thing. Then, when people are just searching randomly, in the last 3 days, 26 times my profile has come up as, part of the search results.
You don't get that on Facebook, do you?
Only on the business side of things, and not all the time. Yeah, but you.
I'll come back to that later.
Yeah, that's insights if you're a business page. Yeah. So, But yeah, regular profiles on Facebook, you wouldn't get that level of information. This is another perk to using a professional networking site. Also, so it shows you here that the 275 connections link me to all these other people. So I actually have 6,000 people in my network. And I know, I just saw you roll your eyes, but it's important because now, unlike Facebook, you can't just randomly friend somebody. They have to be within your network.
Does somebody like screen them? Or can Jack the Ripper join your
Well,
network?
Facebook does that too. I've had people, I've had messages come back saying, do you really know this guy?
Yeah, they're trying to do stuff like that, but in LinkedIn it's more secure. So yeah, if Jack the Ripper tried to enter your network, he'd have to get through a few people. So let's say Jack the Ripper is 3 degrees of separation from me. Well, he has to get in touch with somebody that's 2 degrees of separation from me to be introduced, or know my personal email address and it's verified. So let's say I'll pull up somebody. Who's on LinkedIn here? You are? Oh great. What's your name?
Alan Caldwell.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know you told me before.
Go ahead. That's good.
C-A-L-D-W.
It's A-L-A-N.
Oh.
And I am really not active on it at all. But
Oh, that's
what I
okay.
do, but what I do get is
This
I
one,
get
Allison.
probably
Oh,
I
one L?
probably get
A-L-A-N.
5 requests a week to. That's no. I'm A-L-A-N.
Oh, yeah.
Are you the president at Senior Helpers?
That would be me.
Okay, so I want to connect with you. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah. See, I have 311
And so it's gonna
connections, and I probably know 30 or 40 of them.
Right, and I just wanted to get to the screen. that's all.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for letting me do
No
this.
problem.
Yeah, so it says invite Alan to connect on LinkedIn. So it's gonna ask me, how do I know them? Is he a colleague? No. Is he a classmate? Never. We've done business together? Not yet. Friends, groups, other, I don't know Alan. So let's say I put a lot of people in as they're my friend. It's gonna say, we don't trust you saying that anymore. We gotta prove it. So
Groups.
Groups? Ann Arbor Ypsilanti Regional Chamber. Are you in that group?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I'm not. So it may let me. I don't think I'm in it. Let's try it out. I'm gonna send an invitation.
But maybe if someone you're linked with is in there, would that matter?
So it was sent. So now you'll get a chance to accept me or not.
And I accept everybody. Well, it's just, it doesn't, I don't know.
There's no skin off your back to
Well,
accept.
to me, there's no downside.
Right.
I'm not posting anything personal on there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even post anything at all. I never ask to connect to anybody, people just connect to me. And so that's how it's gotten to be 311. 'Cause
Well,
there's a lot of- I'm not using it like I should, I know that, I'm not using it, it's a one-way thing.
Well, and if you're a big guy like Alan Caldwell, you're the president of a company, you may not need to do a lot.
It's a
But
small company.
They don't know.
yeah, they don't. They see
Well,
president.
what happens to me is I'm in healthcare, and anybody that's in healthcare, people search, and I think 10 names come up, and they ask all 10 of them to connect with them.
Right.
Because they're trying to build a network, and they're hoping it does something for them. That's my guess.
Yeah, and that's, or they could just like if they put in president, for instance, if you're anywhere in their bigger network, you're gonna come up. Yeah, so it could be them, whatever their professional development needs. And that, by the way, is a very okay way to use professional development sites, especially if you're, looking for new leads or looking for new business opportunities. Also, LinkedIn has jobs. So, and you can post jobs, you can manage your jobs. In fact, on your profile, you can say what kind of opportunities you're looking for, part-time, full-time, contracted, freelancer. You can decide all those things. Again, you could put all that information on Facebook, but it's, you know, to use an old term, it's like casting your pearls before swine. Nobody's there to know. I mean, most people are on Facebook to relax, so they're not they're not necessarily going to receive you the same way as they would on LinkedIn.
Well, what I like, it has a pretty good reporting function.
Yes.
Because I don't ever go in there and look, but it sends me updates. But initially it sent me an update every time it happened, and then but you can go in and change the settings, and so I only get it once a week now.
Yes.
And so when I want to, I can go and see all the changes in the people that I'm connected to, and some of them actually know, and so they tell me what they posted.
So, did you guys understand what he's talking about?
No.
Okay, so you can get a report of what, you don't have to, like, he doesn't physically have to go on to LinkedIn in order to know what's going on. So, for instance, let me see if you can get reports daily, daily or weekly or at another interim, and it'll show you what's going on in the groups that you're a part of, on your page, or within your network. And let's see, for instance, these are 5 discussions that at some point I got in for whatever reason. And sometimes me getting in only meant I thought something was interesting I could like. And so now I'm a part of this discussion. And so it's, 7 ways to leverage social profile data on your site, or reading your buyer's digital body language, mobile marketing, 3 principles for success. So at some point, I like something somewhere down the road. So anytime there's an uptake to the discussion, I'm alerted. But if I'm alerted every time, that would be a lot. So that's why it gives you kind of a summary, which is a cool feature, again, of LinkedIn. And you also get the same thing for some of the other places like Yammer that I mentioned. So for instance, this is my, Yammer network activity or digest. So it's
If you have a edu email, are you invited to participate in Yammer?
Yes, or someone has to ask you to be a part of it, or you just go on Yammer. So, but University of Michigan supports it, but it's not like an official part of the University of Michigan. Does that make sense? And it's not just the University of Michigan. DTE, I believe, I don't want to misspeak. I think they do, but other organizations use similar groups within Yammer. But you just have to have like real business email. It can't be at Gmail or at, you get what I'm saying, or at Yahoo. You can't decide, all my friends on Yahoo are going to make a Yammer account. It has to be. So, but you, like for Celine Helpers, if there's, 3 or 4 of you guys, and you all have an ending to your email as whatever, CelineHelpers.com, all of you could create a Yammer account. And this is going back to why this is such a big deal for professional development. If you look here, it's telling me about a webinar. This is a free webinar on July 10th. Anyone can take it, but I might not find out about it. Again, there's so much information out there. By the time somebody emailed me or forget to or whatever, it may never come. So this is another good way just to keep on top of what's going on in your industry, your organization, or like if I deal with a lot of volunteers, it's good to know what they're up to as well. Any more questions about professional networking sites right now? I know you will have some questions, but
You mentioned earlier something about Facebook. there's a, and how they discourage, in fact, Facebook discourages the commercial use of walls, right?
Correct.
They don't want that. So, but people abuse that.
Correct.
Like I've done that, right? Okay. So I post something on my wall saying, "Good news, everybody, I just had 4 short stories published on Kindle," all right? Now, I'm not supposed to do that, because that's really promoting I'm trying to sell something.
Okay.
Facebook also has something they call a page.
Yes.
Facebook page, which
Yes.
is designed, and if I understand it, it's free.
Yes.
And you can make a Facebook page. I wrote
Yes.
this book to help me do that.
Yes.
It's really more complicated than I thought.
Yes.
But what's the advantage of having a Facebook page? I mean, other than the fact that you can sell things
Okay,
using the
can
page.
I answer your question in
Yeah.
3 minutes, because it fits into this next
Oh,
section.
okay, then-
Oh no, that's perfect. No, that's a great question, because it is sort of like, again, I said I'm making everything these separate categories, and a lot of professionals will, but it's really not that big dividing line. You know, people mix and match, and it's the way that you use it. So social networking sites, and these are the ones that you see a lot more games, people use it a lot more time on their leisure time, would be stuff like Facebook, Yahoo, Google Plus. Google Plus is in between, sort of, and Dig. I don't know if you've used Dig, you just, see, he's the president. You know, I just have to mess with you. Dig, D-I-G-G. And you can vote things up or down. So let's say Tanya puts out a new article. She can post it on Dig, and people can say thumbs up, thumbs down, that kind of thing. So it's not like posting it on a more professional site. You get people's raw opinions, which can be good or not as good. The best functions or reasons to use: one, you have more users. So just like I think we said, we had 2 people that you have LinkedIn in the audience. How many of you use Facebook or have some sort of Facebook presence? Is that everybody? One more time, I think oh yeah, everyone. Everyone has a Facebook. So
I was probably the last to join that one.
I thought I was the last one. I didn't join until 2008.
I joined in 2011.
Oh, I just joined this year.
Well, don't feel bad. Amongst my friends, I was the last one.
I'm still using this phone for goodness sake.
So there's 901 million users on Facebook worldwide, and 180 in the US. So when you think about that, that's why people use Facebook so much. It's just the sheer numbers, the bigger swath of people. So when you were talking about, you know, why people are using pages or are using Facebook to gain entry to people's lifestyles and things, that's why. You won't get that big cross section of people in other places. Also, the profiles. The profiles are fun, they're easy to use. You can post pictures, albums. Again, use those settings. You can decide what albums are available to different users. It's dark.
Oh, it's okay. It's still going.
Okay. You can decide what users can get, can gain access to different pictures. So if you only want to show your newest child's picture or your grandchild's picture to family, you can actually make a list called family. And you know, anything that you make with family is just for them, for their eyes only. I have a large portion of my family lives in Texas, and not only do they live in Texas, they like to roam around and have family reunions in other places. Like this year it's Disneyland. I can't budget that, so we'll do Facebook this year. Okay, that's what we'll do to keep in touch. So I do put out information to family in that way. Also, business pages, getting to what you're talking about. If you are on Facebook to market, you really should use a business page. And that's for both parts, or both ways of the communication. So as the person wanting to offer the benefit or the business to someone, you want to be free and clear about what your intentions are. You want to let people know, I want you to like my page so that I can show you how you can benefit from the service I could provide. I don't want to, be a wolf in sheep's clothing and say, like my friend profile page, and then when I get on there, I think I'm going to see pictures of your grandchildren. In fact, you're trying to sell me a book. You know what I mean? That's not fair. So, or, you're selling something every day, or,
Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Oh, yeah.
I also think that some people are just confused. Like, I think the Milan Fair has like one that you have to join.
Yes.
And they just didn't know how to set it up, I think. It's just confusing.
Oh, yeah. It can be very innocent. But if you know, that's the whole thing about it's dangerous. We're in a dangerous situation.
Most people are not tech savvy.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So when you guys leave here today, you'll be dangerous. Enough to be dangerous. But so also from the person's perspective of the person that you want to do business with, you want them to go on. You want them to see you professionally. Does that make sense? So if you're a writer and you're trying to sell your fiction work or your journalist work or whatever the case may be, you want a forum where people can know about what you're doing in that area and not have to see you, getting wild at your daughter's wedding or
Should a nonprofit set up a business page in Facebook?
Yes. Absolutely. Nonprofit, if you're a musician, if you have anything that people can have a little taste of experience ahead of time. So they have, on these pages, there's a listing of different kinds of pages. So for instance, it'll ask you, are you a musician? Are you a writer? Are you a journalist? Are you a consultant? Are you a artist? Yeah, and it has very different. Yeah, photographer. It has a little bit different functionality. It's slight, so it looks similar, but it's a little different functionality depending on what you choose. Like if you have a music page, you can get a little MySpace feel going on in your page. Like there's little places where you can have clips of audio, and also it puts you in the loop, the connections, if you will, for other musicians. If there's laws that come out that affect copyright for you posting samples of music, that kind of thing, you gain access to. So I had a client that is a musician, and he had been using his personal page. And when I, kind of said, you're ripping your own stuff off of all what you could do on Facebook. If you use a regular musician's page, people could they don't have to click onto your website to click somewhere else to listen to your sample. They can see it right there on your Facebook page. So there's opportunities out there that you may not have access to otherwise.
Can a business Facebook page be transferred to another person? Like if I set one up for, let's say, a church,
Yes.
and
Yes.
somebody else in the church wants it.
Yes. Now, I won't, go into full detail of that because it is a little detailed.
But it can be transferred.
Oh, definitely. That's your administrative panel. So under your administrative panel, you can decide if you want to have another person as an admin. And you can even say, I want this person to be able to write posts on my behalf and contact it, but I don't want them to be able to change the look and feel of the page. Or I want that person to be able to, you can save you know, maybe there's 4 different levels of authority that you can choose, and you can have multiple people. So if you're in a band, and you're thinking about that same analogy, if you're in a band and there's 5 of you, all 5 of you can have equal authority, equal access. If somebody gets on your nerves, you know, he can be deleted. But it has to be like conferred by like 2 of them. Like there's little different checks and balances. Yeah, yeah. And it's not like you have to have a book to it won't let you go farther until you know you make these decisions and that kind of thing. Also the sharing. The sharing is big on social networking sites. That's one of the key features people have. So you can use what's called a status or a post, and you can share anything from a picture. So if you're in a photo social networking site like Instagram, for instance, you can have your own separate identity on Instagram and post just the picture, you know, set it into a memory, and people can swap back and forth comments or likes, or actually it's loves, I believe, over Instagram. There's little hearts. And so if you want to go there, when we talk about like the hierarchy of needs, it's no different from what we do offline. I want you to, you know, I look at some of your faces and it's like you thinking this is so different, but it really is very similar. Like we want that sense of community and everything. Some of you may have heard of the Reluctant Networker before. It's a local guy around here. He said it best. He said, in the past, our communities up until about 30 years ago were about 150 people wide. So that meant 150 people we had to worry about. If they died, we say, oh no. If they were born, we say, oh yes. If they got married, if, you know, whatever that we cared about, that we looked at pictures for. We had about 150 people apiece. Now our networks are much bigger. We're, you know, more global savvy, national savvy. So social media has the ability to give people that same feeling of community, especially at a time when we're seeing increases in depression and people feeling isolated and marginalized. Social media can help with that. And again, bringing it back to professional development, that's important. You don't know, you might connect with somebody, a coworker, for instance, about something professional, and find that you have personal interest, and which can forge professional relationships. Does that answer your question at a base level? Okay.
Other than the technicalities, kind of make well, you want different things on a page than you would want on the wall. But this is professional.
Yes.
Totally different.
Yes.
Type of profile and everything else.
Totally. Very different. Not totally, but very different, because yeah. So there still needs to be a person behind.
Cutesy stuff like you might put on a wall.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Sometimes I feel the same way, and I'll write the same thing on both walls. For instance, I woke up and I just felt super energized. So on my Facebook page, I had like a picture of, you know, a little rainbow, and I said, you know, I can't wait to start my day, and I'm waiting for King Charming to come around the bushes. I just know it's going to be a perfect day, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. On my Facebook business page, I wrote, forecast, sunny and positive. You know, so I still gave them who I am. I still gave them a piece of myself, but I was, you know, not getting too far out of my professional self, which is hard for me. So the last little category that on a as far as tools for professional development, I was going to talk about is blogging and microblogging. This is so important when we're talking about keeping up with industry research, news, and views. Coming back here, and we talked about our tools and strategies for professional development. We had, pen, paper, Facebook, Twitter, iPatio. iPatio is, by the way, some of these are so necessary because some of these people that mention them are in journalism. So they take a lot of interviews, that kind of thing. But also the texting, the Outlook calendar, Storify. This is just a very small group of the tools that we have access to. So if you think about all those tools, that's a lot of information. It's just a lot. And that's why it becomes so important to be the person that receives good information and the person that shares good information online. Does that make sense? You don't want to be the online gossip. You don't want to be the person that, every time you saw an article or you heard, Hugh Hefner broke off his engagement, you're already writing it, got it out there. You want to be trustworthy, just like you want to be offline. So the biggest one we hear about is microblogging, and that's the biggest platform for that is Twitter. So Twitter has its own little community, and I actually do a class just on Twitter because Twitter is really based on conversations. If you, the best way that I've tried to explain it to people is you see the bird, that little blue bird that's on Twitter. If you ever have spent time bird watching, I'm not a professional bird watcher, but it's something that I enjoy doing. There's a little behavior that birds go through. It kind of like two birds will kind of talk to each other. Like they have their own little code. Like they know when people enter. They talk about, they're very loud in the morning. I've noticed that. Like I don't know what they're talking. Maybe it's the worm. I don't know. But they're really loud at certain times, but it's almost like certain birds will stay quiet while the other birds are talking, and then the other ones, like it's this little chitter chatter conversation. Similarly, that's what Twitter is supposed to be about. Whatever is what people are talking about. It's conversation. It's the other way that it's used is to share kind of views and information that's out there within your industry. So if you were to have a massive conversation with everyone who liked Superman ice cream, what would that conversation be like? Not much? Not much?
Well, colorful.
It will be colorful. I mean, I'm thinking that anybody that likes Superman ice cream has to be like good people. So it would be a great conversation. So of course, insert whatever your thing is instead of Superman ice cream. But that's what you have the ability to do on Twitter. It's driven by trends, and the trends you can focus on local trends like for Detroit, for Michigan, for the U.S., for worldwide. If you want to know what people are talking about just in Paris, you can see that. And the trends are mostly followed through the hashtags. That's that pound symbol. Have you guys seen that? It's like the number sign, and then so it'll be like Leslie is having a great day, # Friday. That trend, that hashtag is the theme of the message. The same way if you had a blog or if you had a story, if you had an article, it would have a title, Every sentence, every post has a theme. It's a valuable tool because you don't have to write up a lot. You can just say, check out this, what I just saw. You just post out into your Twitter following. Also, there's a function called retweet. So
Some people really overuse that. You
The
get
retweet-
somebody who retweets it onto Facebook, and you get like 16 things that got retweeted, and you go, just shut up. You know? God.
So you have your So here we have the Community Media Lab. Using hashtag gives your Twitter post a theme. So, oh, well, she didn't use. Who did this? Oh, is it you?
She's
Okay.
not tweeting.
Okay, so I can now, with just a few words, because you only have 140 characters, by the way, for any tweet. In fact, you need to stay at 125 or you won't be retweetable. If you use over 125 characters, it makes it hard for people to retweet or to share. So with a little bit, we just talked about hashtags. So now that's gonna be a trend, and I can retweet that. And now this is retweeted to anyone who follows me. If I look here, worldwide trends, this is what people are talking about. Howard Webb, I don't know what Rust J is. Ivan Drago, signs your pastor is a thug. Oh my goodness.
Can you go on to Twitter and look up stuff to find out what it's being discussed?
Of course, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Ray Bradbury died a couple days ago.
So maybe you could
So-
There are a lot of tweets about him.
So there's two ways to see whether we're talking about Ray Bradbury. He was a trendy topic for a while. So first of all, we want to change, because he's probably not as worldwide as we think.
Your arms covered a little bit.
Oh, sorry. So I'd go here to the United States. And I saw this. Still no Ray Bradbury, but what I am able to do, actually there's three ways. So the trends, that's the people using the hashtags, but not everybody uses hashtags.
Oh.
So then we go into the search field up here. Remember I told you always use the search whenever you're in doubt? The problem with the search is they have to say it the exact same way. But we do have some top tweets for Ray Bradbury. So some quotes.
That's how it works.
Also, sometimes I'm just feeling like I just want to know what people are thinking about and talking about. I click on this discover. And these are some of the top stories online that people are talking about. And it's cool because a lot of times, most of the time, it's stuff I wouldn't be thinking about. But I still find it interesting. That makes sense? And this connect is just showing anytime I've been mentioned. So when I started out the presentation, I told you the let's go for it, the let's go for it. Anytime you want to actually have me mentioned, you'd have to say, you have to put the symbol, let's go for it. Once you make your Twitter handle, which can be anything as long as it's not taken as any other username would be, they would just have to put @ Tanya, @ I think M. Rogers, isn't it?
No, Idea Lab Heritage.
Idea Lab Heritage. That's a lot. But I'll remember it.
Idea Lab is over.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you wanted to talk to or say, I enjoyed today's presentation, you could say @Community Media L and then whatever your message is. Okay? As far as professional networking, Twitter is easier to have that interaction. Facebook, there's back and forth about the links of people actually gaining jobs off of Facebook or actually getting real leads off of Facebook. But it's still important because it's the top of the, as Bud Gibson likes to call it, the sales funnels, which is awareness and research. So that's where Facebook comes into play. So the other blogging is what you may be used to by now anyways, and that's your WordPress, your Blogger, LiveJournal, Tumblr, Typepad. Those are all forms of blogging. What did we do before blogs?
Call people up on the phone.
No, that's like a long, long time ago. Like even before, so after telephone conversation. E-newsletters, company newsletters, like that kind of thing. Right. So now we have blogging, and when you're talking about blogging, brings us into this social bookmarking and curation. And as I said before, this is the quote I was talking about. Every 2 days now, we create as much information as we did from the dawn of civilization up until 2003. And that's Eric Schmidt. So the blogging is, you can either do original content or you could curate content. So any of you clip coupons or have your wife clips coupons? Yes, okay. So it's the same sort of idea. Okay, so you just clip what you want off the web. And these are some examples of sites that enable you to do so. Clipix.com, Curate.us, StumbleUpon is one of my favorites because you're actually able to set up different categories. So I clip stuff that I like, or I stumble upon, if you will, just about education, just about photography, just about, health, whatever the case may be, or cakes. And then Pinterest is more of a visual form of that, and it's more social, but you'll find a lot of...
I've noticed a lot of people posting onto Facebook with Pinterest pictures.
Exactly.
And there's usually sappy pictures of a puppy and a kitten, and it's been photoshopped to death so that there's an alligator in the background. That never happened, but they just want to... Is there a way to stop seeing posts from those people or something?
Oh, yes. You would just... you have to hover your mouse around the right corner. If you were to draw an imaginary box around that person's message that comes across on your feed, and just click hide posts, and you can hide all posts by this user or just this post. Sometimes I've done that when people put, I have really good friends, but sometimes they post things that are like, zombies and whatever. I was just like, I don't want to see that.
Time waster. Pinterest pictures are really bad.
Well,
there's a lot of stupid stuff I get.
Okay, before we say it's stupid, let's also remember Pinterest is relatively new. And so there's always growing pains.
Do I have to join it to look at it or something? Because sometimes I want to look at one more closely and then I can't even see it. It says you got to join and give us your blood type, and I'm going, no way.
What you can do, okay, and so this is, you bring up a good point. So you're asking, do I have to join? Yes, but, it's always a but. And this is what I do. I have about 80 profiles out there, but I only keep up maybe 20. Does that make sense? So the other ones I'm on just enough so I know how it works. I can see stuff, access it when I want to, see my friends, but I'm not, so they don't have a lot. When I do that profile, I only give exactly what I have to provide. I don't give anything else. but it allows me to be a part of that community. Instagram is one. I like Instagram, but it's not, you know, a life changer for me personally. But I figured if, you know, if they could get 5 million users in 10 days, I need to be a part of it. I need to know what was going on. So I got on there, and now I'm a part of it. I'm like, okay. But that's what you can do with Pinterest. And what you might find is, which I found with other sites, is after it goes through the growing pains, people learn how to use it more effectively, then you'll start to see an increase in the value of content that you have access to. Delicious is another social, it's a social bookmarking tool. So you're just bookmarking different links, and Bing, just like Yahoo or like Google, but Bing is starting something different where you can actually see what your friends are trending and looking at. So it's not trends based upon all these people, because if you think about you against the rest of the world, you're probably the smartest person you know, right? So your friends are some of that. So now you have what your friends are looking at and seeing. So I think we've kind of covered questions along the way, but if you have any additional questions, this is the time. Just remember, we want to focus on your needs and build a plan around what makes your life easier. So personal development, this is all the social networking, the taking time for yourself, writing your plans out, that's all part of your personal development. And the career advancement, knowing what's going on in your industry, what's going on, what are other companies or organizations like mine doing, what are other freelancers doing, that's part of your career advancement. And those together build your professional development. So now I want you to take that sheet, that questionnaire, and this is the pop question, and we'll leave with this. Name one thing from your professional development list that you can use one of these social media sites or any social media site to help with. And then write it on your sheet and be sure to do it. So whatever it is, if there's something that's written on this pad up here that you think might be interesting, or you heard someone mention, or myself, write it down. And that's the one site that you're going to vow to yourself that you'll learn how to use, or if it's one that you're already using, how you're going to weave it into your professional development. That's it. Thank you, guys.
That was a good presentation.
Thanks. These are additional resources.